Stocks under pressure today and adding to their losses for the week. The latest move coming as President Trump is reportedly trying to push through a most favored nation policy for Medicare drug pricing. That would tie the amount the government pays for some drugs to the lower prices paid by other countries. That plan expected to be announced next week. For more, Mizuho's Holz joins us with his thoughts. Jerry, great to have you with us. President Trump, as I understand it, tried to push this through in his first term. Has the situation, the circumstances, the political environment changed to make this a more likely outcome this time?
Great to see you. I don't really think so. I mean, it's more the same when I kind of consider what happened in the first term and what's happening now. I think to some extent, there's been some talk that some of the tactics that he's going to use this time around are to essentially make it seem like his administration is going to take a harder stance on pharma than Biden did. So there's a lot of, political ramifications here to consider. But I think it's basically the same thing. We just don't know what the plan's going to be at the end of the day.
Do you think ultimately that it will, in fact, hurt the ability of pharma companies to price their drugs according to what they think they should be priced at in the United States?
I mean, that's the strategy that this administration wants to take. Now, is that going to come with some sort of consequence in which other drugs are priced higher in order to offset some of the pressure that's going to be placed on them in addition to losing patent exclusivity, in addition to the IRA and all of the other challenges the industry faces? Like, that's a possibility. There's also the possibility that the industry, takes some sort of more aggressive approach and prices drugs higher in Europe. Therefore, when they're matched in the U.S., they're matched to a higher base. But I think, yes, to answer the question, that seems to be the case. I'm just not really sure what the industry is going to do in order to offset this completely.
Cheers, Tim. Go Leafs, by the way. I know you're happy about last night's victory. But I want to go right to what your investor clients are saying about sentiment here being as bad as it is. Who's sniffing around saying this is amazing? I mean, I look at, a lot of the dynamics here in terms of the valuations. We know some of these companies aren't even all that cheap here, but sentiment is as bad as I've seen it. We're in a period where if we're going to start to have more economic headwinds, this is a very defensive sector. A lot of this stuff may not happen. This is typically, we always hear a lot of noise in pharma. I just want to know where investors are.
Yeah, investors are as negative as I've seen. Is there a point in time in which the buy side becomes more bullish, more optimistic? I mean, there's a chance that we get this most favored nation news on Monday and it winds up being not so bad, or at least less bad than feared, and the group trades up a little bit on that just for a bounce, so to speak. But I'm not really sure there's a defensive characterization to be made around pharma. I think maybe you could make the case around other areas of healthcare, maybe medical devices and others. But pharmaceutical stocks have just been as far from defensive for the past decade or more than I can remember, Tim, because we've got all this drug pricing noise that is kind of ubiquitous, right? We cannot get away from it. And then we're looking at declining sales because of generic entry. We're looking at the IRA that Biden put in, and Trump seems like he's going to make that worse. So I really don't know if there's an all-clear event where the street can come around and say, now is the time. I mean, again, a bounce here and there, I'm all for it. Hopefully we get one next week. But I think the pressure is still on the group.